What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Teege pack. Teege makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliate and scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Teege Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teege Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Teege Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Teege Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Teege pack. Feel the Teege, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. What up, people in the building? I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for holding me down. It is Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023, year of our Lord. I appreciate you guys for continuing to roll with me. What up, friends and family? Hey, let me get a check and find out where everybody is at right now. One word. What city you in? Actually, man, that may not be one word. What city y'all in? What city y'all tapping in from? Let me hear what's happening. What up, Kojak? What up, Azriel? What up, Vanessa? Bree Powered in the building. My girl, Randy. Slan sells cars. What up, KGTV? Vanessa. What up, Goldilocks? True to myself. DC Crush. Just seen your interview on Real Street Stars. Shout out to Real Street. Yo, Tallahassee, VA, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Charlotte, Cleveland, Virginia, St. Louis, Orlando. I'm going to be in Orlando. Savannah, Tulsa, Sacramento, Bridgeport, LA, Houston, Elk Grove, Novi. What up, though? Bronx, Illinois, San Antonio, Miami, Winston-Salem, Strong Island, Bradenton, Easton, Harrisburg, Bmore, Philly, Charleston, DMV, South Carolina, Harrisburg, Boise in the building. What up? Columbus, Dallas, Miami, Pittsburgh. Miami is feeling it. What up? West Bloomfield. Shout out to my city of West Bloomfield people. Metro Detroit, H-Town, Prince George's County, Baltimore, Dayton, Rio Rancho, Oakland, South Korea deployed. Shout out to my people. Brooklyn. Where you at, though? Nashville, Raleigh, Boston, Cashville, Nova Scotia. What up, though? Detroit, Huntsville, Greer, North Texas, Fargo, Newport Beach, Waco, Texas, Memphis, Saginaw, Oceanside, Phoenix, Sicily. I got my people in Sicily in the building. Detroit in the building. What up, Miss Lady? Detroit, my baby. Compton in the building. Florida, what up? Richmond, Virginia, ATL. Hey, where should I start my tour at next year? Where y'all think I should start my tour at next year? I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to be flying in, if I'm going to be driving. I just ordered a new e-transit van. Los Angeles, Sacramento. We got Fan in the building. Nashville, Dade County, National Harbor. What up? What up to my people overseas and getting that bag? All of my truck drivers, people working from home. Shout out to my stay-at-home mothers in the building. What up to y'all? Shout out to my people that's in the plant. Shout out to my striking UAW members. Shout out to the people that's laid off because of the strike. Shout out to everybody. This is going to be a money show today. We are going to get into a little bit of the news that's going on all around the country. Y'all saying where we starting at? Charlotte, Florida. We should start in Florida and work our way around. Saudi Arabia, start in Savannah, Georgia. What up, Goldilocks? You love the channel? I love you too. Bakersfield. See, I'm one of the only people that actually interact with the chat. I don't just put together an agenda, start talking about it. You guys are the ones that make the show. Start in Dubai. Now, we got to start right here in the United States of America. We're going to move through Canada. We might move down through Florida. I don't know where we're going to start at, but we definitely going to hit every single city. Now, we do have to address some news today. All right, so I want to take you over and to check in what's happening over there. Hold some people accountable over here. But the majority of the end of the show, the middle and the end of the show is all going to be about money. We want to talk about the mortgage crisis. I want to talk about how you guys can find and then leverage what's going on in the economy as far as real estate in order to continue to level up. I also want to talk about auto delinquencies. I want to talk about student loans. I want to talk about the bag today. It's Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? We had a great show last night on Monday, so shout out to everybody that tuned into the show. But I definitely want to get to the bag today, all right? So we're going to get there. We definitely going to get there. Let's get a little bit of housekeeping out of the way. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. That link is in the description. Also, on top of that, get your Teege Henley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. We are absolutely, positively excited to be rocking out with Teege. Also, if you guys want to advertise your products, I know somebody sent me something. Shout out to Tribal Roots. Shout out to Tribal Roots in the building. I know they sent me some stuff. And so I went and picked that up yesterday. My people said, Anton, you got to talk about it. I have no idea what this stuff is. This is, it looked like a cup warmer. Oh, this is dope. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's like you put your cup on there. I guess you put your coffee on it. Oh, yeah. So you gave me the coffee cup. Oh, this is dope. And then you can just absolutely just warm it up. So you got the coffee cup, the Tribal Roots coffee cup. You put that on the cup warmer right there. I am not being paid for this. This is y'all just sending it to me. So I just want to be very, very clear. This is not an advertisement. This is just a part of the culture and the bag chasers. You can put that on top of the coffee. Okay, I see what we got going on here. So Tribal Roots is hooking your boy up. Let's see what we got over here. What's in this one? Tribal Roots. Oh, it's the same thing? Okay. What's in this one? This is what I want to see. It's the big box. You always got to go for the big box. It's like a kid on Christmas, and they look for the big box. My address for y'all to send me whatever it is that y'all need to send me. Oh, snaps. You sent me the beard kit, the elderberry with the zinc in it, the anti-aging cream. Y'all want to keep me beautiful out here in these streets? This is what we working with. All right. So they sent me the whole package. Make sure y'all go over to Tribal Roots Wellness. They sent me the wellness kit. Go over to Tribal Roots and check them out. Again, I do not get paid for this. I just want to make sure that I highlight everybody that support the platform. And so it looks like you can go to Tribal Roots Enterprises. They are from Chicago, manufactured in Chicago. So here's their information if you guys are interested. I just spotted it on the back. It's right there. This is their information. Right there. Give them a call, 1-800-307-0413. And they sent me a letter. But the letter is for me, not necessarily for you guys. So, I am looking for anybody that is looking to advertise on the show, both locally and internationally. So, we get emails every single day of people saying, oh, we want to sponsor this and we want to sponsor that. If you're serious about sponsorship, because we are going to start expanding the platform a little bit more, if you're serious about sponsorship, send me an email, but send it to me professionally. Don't just send me a random email. Get your act together. Put your press kit together. Make sure you got all of your Instagram right. Make sure your pictures is crisp. If you are looking to advertise and you want to get a leg up on the competition, make sure you email me. We're going to work with you and make sure that you're straight. In addition to that, if you guys are just really, really small business owners and you're trying to take care of your business and you're trying to run it up and you just need a little bit of a boost, say that too. All right. So let me say this. Let me be very, very clear. I am a man of the people. All of the gear, this people love good quality. I don't get paid for that. The tribal roots, I just show off and I highlight what it is that y'all doing. I wear y'all hoodies. I go on the biggest platforms. I put y'all clothing on and all of that, right? But let me be clear. When you do things, you have to do it professionally. Do not halfway do things. If you're going to be about your business, then be all the way about your business. If you know that you have a product that you want to start putting out there, get it together. Get all of your ordering information. Make sure your website is straight. Make sure your social media is tight, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Now, we're going to do it professionally like this, all right? Rita said, can you bring it back home? We're going to do it professionally like this. I have no problem using my platform in order to make sure that you guys get your bag up. So, but you have to mention that. Don't try to finesse me. You have to mention it. Don't try to finesse me, and do not try to get everything for free. I will make sure that I have a spot on my platform every day to mention whatever it is that people send me for free. I have no problem with that. I came from the mud. I understand what it is. I'm going to make sure that y'all taken care of. And I am not requiring you to pay me in order to highlight your products on the platform. But it's only one thing. Actually, it's two things that I'm requiring for y'all. The first thing that I'm requiring for you is to make sure that you're professional and you highlight that you are looking for me to just give you a shout out or make sure that I highlight your product for free. I have no problem with doing it, but just make sure that you mention that. I want you guys to be able to separate the difference between sponsorships, and I want you to look at everything from a business perspective. If you're looking for a shout out, I cannot guarantee that I will do it, but if your product is dope and if I decide to use it, I'm going to highlight it, because I would never give anything over to my people that I wouldn't use myself. But say that. Say that you're looking for a shout out. Make sure that you prepare it for whatever it is that people come to you and they say, oh, we want to order the product. If I give you a shout out and you don't got no product for them to buy, then that's you AOL. You out of luck. So you have to make sure that y'all ready. When you're ready, and I'm going to be here. So don't be in a rush. Don't think that you got to do it 100% of the time. I got to hurry up and get to it. Let me hurry up and shit. Listen, it may take you a month or two to get everything polished, get your Shopify site up, make sure that your Instagram is popping, get enough on your feed to make it actually pop, right? Get your stuff together and then send me the product. And if you actually just looking for a leg up, yo, Anton, can you shout my product out or whatever? Absolutely. I will shout your product out. I will run it up. I will wear it. I love the people and I love to help out with you, but make sure that you actually prepare and you do the thing and you approach it from a business-like perspective, and you just be transparent with your intentions. I can respect you and I will hold you down if I know that you're doing it the right way, because I'm a person that likes to build relationships. It's not always about the money. It's not always about getting it in on the front end. It's not always about that. I'm just a genuine person and I like to make sure that you guys are highlighted. So if you guys got a small business, it don't even matter if you got a brick and mortar store, if you got an e-commerce store, if you got something that's dope, make sure your packaging is straight. Make sure your website is straight. Make sure your ordering information is smooth. Make sure you do good business. Make sure you actually got the product to be able to ship it out to the people, right? Take care of business. Take a month or two. Take a week or two. Take 2 months. Take a whole quarter. Get your launch date. Get everything up. Highlight it. My people going to work with you. They're going to make sure you're taken care of. And it ain't even got to cost you nothing. I'm not going to charge you for that. I understand what it's like to get your business up. I understand what it's like to start popping off. You know what I'm saying? And the Bag Chasers and the Patreon specifically, in late November, I might see your product and I might want to give you some seed money in order to make sure you continue to blow up. I don't even require no equity. I don't want no part of your business. I just want to leverage the platform to highlight the people that hold me down the most. Y'all tune in to me every single day. Social Sis says, what about the service-based business? Absolutely. If you in a specific city or you're a virtual assistant or you something like that, and you want to be able to highlight your business, maybe we'll do small business Fridays or Thursdays or something like, I don't know. Maybe I'll do a special live stream once a month on Saturdays where we can highlight small businesses. We can figure that out. But my point is that we all brothers and sisters. It don't matter if you're white, black, Asian, Latino, whatever you are, We all brothers and sisters. We all striving to work together. We all trying to do things the right way. And so just make sure you have your stuff together. Be professional about it and be transparent. All right. I'm going to do my best to make sure that I give you a leg up. It don't cost me nothing to do it. And so I'm going to make sure that I do it. Now, for the people that's actually looking for real-time sponsorships, let's put together a package. Let's work together. Let's figure out how we can blow you up, because I don't want to just do business as far as making sure that you guys give me money, I can make the bag. If it's not conducive for both of us, then I wouldn't even do the sponsorship. If I can't figure out how to put some money in your pocket, I'm not going to do the sponsorship. If I can't figure out how it is that I can add value into your business, I'm not going to do the sponsorship. This ain't about a money grab. This is about adding value, because I like to do business based off of having a relationship long term. That's what real business people understand. You don't slice it one time. We figure out how to bust this down together. All right. So make sure that if you are a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. If you are about your business and you are a part of the Patreon, in late November, I am doing a give back. I've done a Shark Tank style pitch. It is in the Patreon from the previous ones in which I funded other people's businesses. Again, I have never taken anything from them. I haven't taken any equity. I just make sure that I give back to the people, because I'm very appreciative of the fact that y'all support me and y'all tune in every day and you share this with your family and friends. If you are a part of the Patreon, late November, I am going to be putting together a date that I'm going to be highlighting very, very soon. I might even put it up this weekend, in which I highlight exactly what it is that you guys need to do in order to pitch successfully. Or you can go back and watch the previous pitches. I wire y'all the money. I don't require anything from it. And that just is what it is. All right. So if you're part of the Patreon, that's coming up in late November. Also, November 4th, I'm meeting up with y'all in DC. Does not cost you anything to get in. If you are a bag chaser, I am going to update the specific address now that I got an idea of how many people are going to be coming. I'm going to highlight the address where we're meeting up in DC. Come and tap in with your boy. We're going to continue to run it up. Third, if you want me to highlight and give you a shout out for free, I'm cool with that. Just make sure you prepare it and make sure you do it professionally and you highlight that inside of your email. Fourth, if you actually looking to have or do business together and you're looking to get into a sponsorship, make sure that you email me and you highlight that specifically about what type of service that you have, so we can get you prepared for what that looks like. And then we can have that conversation as to whether or not this makes sense for you to sponsor. You do a sponsorship with me. Maybe I can point you in the right direction with somebody that will probably be more conducive to your audience. I don't know, but we have to make sure that we take care of business and we do things right, because I'm more interested in building a relationship and you being successful, because when you successful, I'm successful also. All right. So let's just take care of business. That's housekeeping. Wanted to make sure I highlighted that again. Tap into Teege Henley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Hit a like for the algorithm. Shout out to my people on Facebook. We're going to continue to do good business all the way across the board. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to jump right into the show. Jeremy H is in the building, says, I missed the live stream because of the new job, but I wanted to say black people clown me for being too dark and my wife for being snow queen. Oh, you a black guy with a white woman, snow queen. But my bright-skinned kids with green eyes and good hair. Oh, my God. Listen, don't worry about nothing that nobody is saying to you. The only thing that matters is whether or not you're successful and whether or not your kids are good and safe and that they're doing a thing, and you leaving a legacy on this earth that's better than had you not been here. Shout out to you. Miss Lady J in the building says, check Patreon. Shout out to you. All right, bet. Somebody said, Anton, what's your shoe size? I want to design you some Detroit Crocs. I wear a size 9, men's 9. So if you want to send me some shoes, I'll wear a size 9. Rita and Leslie, I don't know which y'all wear, 7.5, 8 in women's, something like that. I don't know. William Lucian says, I appreciate y'all having me on the panel last night. Shout out to my boy Will in the building. Said I had a blast with the crew. Shout out to Q. Anton, I had to be at work at 6 a.m. and I wasn't late. Got to be on time, my G. If y'all want to be on the show, ladies, especially the ladies, if y'all want to be on the Monday night panel and y'all want to have some fun, we had a ball last night. Email Q, Island Girl Q on Instagram, or I'm sorry, DM Q on Instagram, and she going to make sure that you right? She going to make sure that she gets y'all right. Shout out to my dog, Will. I had a ball with you last night. You was hilarious, bro. Bilderberg Boy says, good morning, AD. Did you get my email on getting a quote from Travelers? Saved me a lot of money over the years. I also use them for my home insurance. Yes, I did. And thank you for that, because I am looking into that, because me paying $1,800 a month for insurance is egregious. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Bilderberg Boy. I got your email, and thank you, my friend. And thank you to all of the chat for looking out for me. A man 01 says, AD, I'm going to be creating a clothing brand soon and appreciate the Millionaire Morning Show. And I appreciate you too. Thank you, my friend. And I'm looking forward to getting them clothes because I love me some clothes. Mr. Rogers says, appreciate everything you do. Just became a bag chaser. Shout out to the bag chasers out in the building. I appreciate you, Mr. Rogers. Also, moderators that's in the chat, let the people rock out. If they have something to say, if they being negative, if they have some criticism, if they don't necessarily agree with you or agree with me, it's okay. We don't want to live in an echo chamber as long as they're not disrespectful. That's all that matters. Let them rock out. Let them chill. This is an open forum. We like the pushback. We like the feedback. We don't just want to get the feedback from the people that agree with us. We want to take into consideration everything that everybody is doing, all right? But it is a different audience on the Millionaire Morning Show. We're not going to tolerate no craziness and no disrespect because we're trying to get that 30 million. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mr. Rogers. I appreciate you. Food, fashion, women, sports says, what's your shoe size, Anton? I want to design you some Detroit style Crocs. Wear a size 9 in men's. I appreciate you. Highly Offensive is in the building. Shout out to Highly Offensive says, top of the morning, everyone. Top of the morning to you too, my friend. And then my girl, Cassandra P in the building. I appreciate you says, I love the Q show. And we love you too. We love you too. All right. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the show. Again, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel with turn on your notifications. We have a great show lined up for you guys. Again, after we start to address the latest news that's happening all around the country, we want to make sure that we talk about the money today. I'm going to deep dive into the money today. All right? I'm going to deep dive into the money today. Shout out to the fairy. I see you, baby girl. Absolutely. And I like to interact with the chat. So the more that you guys hit a like, the more that you share, the more that you type in the chat, that's what gets me going. And that's what incentivizes me to say some of the things that I say, because then I can get a gauge or a litmus of where you guys are at, what your mindset is, how you feel about certain things, and how I need to approach it in order to give you the information that you need in order to be successful. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. Shout out to my dog, Mike That Dude. Mike That Dude be on Cash App, busting it down, making it rain on me like I'm a stripper over in Atlanta. Yeah. All right. Let's get started with the show. Thank you, Teege Henley. First and foremost, I've been watching this story for a little while, but one of the things that I like to do when I watch these stories is I like to get all of the insight and I like to see what the evidence shows, and I want to get the full context and the full videos before I highlight it. Let me bring you up to speed of what's happening, all right? This is what's happening all around the country. And this shows you that it's the culture that's trash. Western culture, and then we segment it off into black people, white people, Asian people, Latino people, Mexicans, the whole thing, right? It's the culture that's trash. Let me break it down for you and give you an update on what's going on here.
Charged with trying to murder her husband by allegedly poisoning his coffee in the newly obtained surveillance video that he says proves she did it. Eva Pilgrim is here with the story. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, Michael. They were living under the same roof in the midst of a contentious divorce, and that's when Robbie Johnson says his coffee started tasting off. So he set up hidden cameras around the house. This morning, what those cameras found.
This morning, an alleged poisoning caught on camera. Tucson police investigating these videos obtained by ABC News that airman Robbie Johnson claims shows his wife, Melody, trying to poison him by pouring bleach into his coffee maker in the midst of a contentious divorce. In a probable cause complaint, Johnson alleging the poisoning attempts began in March while the couple lived in Germany and continued when they moved back to Arizona. After noticing his coffee was tasting bad, he bought Pool chemical testing strips, which showed high levels of chlorine in his coffee pot. The strips seen in this video police are investigating, obtained by our affiliate KGUN.
I want to test it.
Hold on. Y'all still holding me accountable for holding people accountable, specifically women? Or is it important for us to really take into consideration what we're dealing with out here? Because remember, listen, I know this much, and I've done a little bit of research. One thing that I found out is that when somebody is going through a divorce, the divorcing attorneys on both sides often at times advise the clients not to leave the home. The advising attorneys, because you're splitting assets, you debating what it is that you want to pay out, alimony, kids, whatever it is your situation is, often at times they say do not leave the home, because what it does is it puts you at a disadvantage for what it is that you actually fighting for in this contentious divorce. Can you imagine? And I keep telling y'all this over and over. Monday nights, Tuesday mornings, Wednesday afternoons, Thursday evenings. I tell y'all this every single time. What you're vetting for is a wife. You looking at what it is that they look like, whether or not she gonna give that gawk 3,000, whether she gonna let you play video games, if she gonna cheat on you. You're not really paying attention to the character of a person to find out if they evil or not. It's a lot of people that's evil that haven't been caught, that we haven't put on a hidden camera to see what they're really doing. And I tell y'all all the time, the person that you're laying next to is the most important thing that you're ever going to experience in your entire life. It's the biggest business decision. It's your biggest life decision. It's your biggest mental health decision. The person that you laying next to, remember, this man is living in a house with this woman. She's poisoning his coffee ever since they was in Germany. And because she hadn't been successful up to this point, all the way back when they get into the United States of America, she's still executing on this plan. She gonna see it through. She never had a change of heart. She never switched it up. She hate this man so bad that she actually wants him dead. The person that you laying next to, you have to close your eyes next to that woman. Closing your eyes next to a person that is willing to sacrifice your life and poison you and have you die a horrible death because they don't necessarily care for you. That is insane. And they not white. They not black. They everything and everywhere. Everything and everywhere. And so we supposed to just automatically by default believe all women? Absolutely not.
This to show that it's definitely tainted. It stinks. Seems true. Big change.
Johnson setting up multiple cameras in his house, capturing the footage of his wife, who's now behind bars, charged with multiple felonies, including attempt to commit first-degree murder. According to the complaint, police found liquid that smelled like bleach inside the coffee maker and a container under her bathroom sink that smelled like bleach and had a very small amount of liquid inside of it. Her husband alleging she was trying to kill him to collect death benefits.
Crazy.
Melody has not entered a plea, her attorney declining to comment.
The state is going to have to prove that her intention was to kill him, that this wasn't some bizarre effort to clean the coffee machine, that this wasn't some mistake, that she was out to get him. And I would think that the additional investigation that they've done will support that argument.
Now, she's expected to be back in court on November 6th.
Let me give you another angle because there's a deeper dive here, and I want to make sure that we have this conversation in its entirety.
Watch this. Guaranteed. You're going to see purple. Boom. Wow.
A military wife is now charged with attempted first-degree homicide after her husband allegedly caught her on camera pouring bleach into his coffee maker. He says it was all to get life insurance benefits.
Whatever's in there, there's a lot of it.
It all started in March 2023 when an unnamed United States Air Force airman was stationed in Germany. At the time, he lived with his wife, Melody Feliciano Johnson, and their
Hey, somebody call Logic. Somebody call Logic. My guy over there in Germany. He missed the show last night. You know Logic is on a completely different time zone than us. Hey, somebody call Logic and tell him that these Germany chicks ain't too much better than what it is that we got here over in the United States of America. Somebody call Logic and say that they over there doing things over there to them too. Somebody call my homies over in the Passport Bros and tell them that just because they may not be from here, or just because they are from here, or just because they're from another culture, don't necessarily mean that they for you. Can you imagine putting your life on the line every single day for your country, willing to live and die for it, and make sure that you protect the citizens here in the United States of America and their freedoms to be able to choose and live their life with liberty and dignity and justice for all, so that we can then get all of these migrants over here adjusted to our way of life, so that they can start to adopt the policies of Mayor Brandon Johnson over there in New York. Over there in Chicago. Let's not get the two great cities mixed up. Over there in Chicago, and then Eric Adams over here in New York. Could you imagine? Could you possibly imagine that you went over there and you got you a Hispanic woman, a Mexican woman, a Latino woman, a Filipino woman, an Asian, whatever it is that you decide that you wanted to get, and she over there putting bleach in your stuff so that she can get your death benefits? Crazy.
child. The couple is now going through a divorce. According to court documents, he, quote, started noticing that his coffee was tasting bad. He continued to drink the coffee for the next 2 to 3 weeks and then ended up buying some pool chemical testing strips as the coffee continued to taste very bad.
I wonder how long or how messed up his system is, or what it was that was supposed to happen to him. I wonder what that's like. She tried to get him in Germany before she tried to do the Shanquella Robinson to him before he even got back to the United States of America.
Bad to him.
And think about this. Look at the type of evidence that he had to put together in order to even get her arrested in the first place. Because if he just assumed, that didn't necessarily mean that it was true. This man could have got in his sleep. He had to keep his eyes closed. What if she woke up one day and was like, yo, I don't really like him, or I'm getting emotional as a result of it and all of that? What if that was a situation? How would that have played out? Huh? This is crazy.
In multiple videos, the husband uses chlorine strips to test the water in his coffee maker. Every time, the test strip returns results for high levels of chlorine.
It's crazy, man. This is crazy. K. Cooper, you wrong on that one. You wrong, K. Cooper. This man can't even drink anything in his own crib? That's crazy. That he paid for. Is this what y'all going through as military members? See the purple one wasn't even up yet? It immediately showed up as purple. Immediately popped up purple.
According to a criminal complaint, the man, quote, suspected someone was tampering with his coffee, and in May 2023, while still in Germany, he set up a camera in his house. At that point, video captures Feliciano Johnson pouring something into his coffee pot.
Look at this chick. Evil. They gonna watch your habits. They gonna pay attention to when you come, when you go. Honestly, this woman is like a serial killer. She's like a killer that is stalking people. She should be profiled in the same way that serial killers is profiled by the FBI. She's watching, she's plotting, she's sitting here looking at his habits, what he drinks, how often he drinks, seeing how he reacts to it. She probably adjusting the amount that she putting in it, depending on whether or not he's turning up sick or not. She probably wondering why he didn't get as sick as he should have been. If you look at her browser history, she probably looked up how to poison husband to collect death benefits. What is my payout? It's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Look, she's the housewife type. Dressing conservative.
Tonight's the night I caught her on video. So let's test this water. It's gonna be purple. Boom.
That's crazy. How many of y'all are sleeping with the enemy? How many of y'all are sleeping with the enemy and you don't even know it? Setting you up. But they may not necessarily be poisoning your coffee. They might have untightened the lugs on your car and waited till you get on the freeway to see if you was going to crash out. Huh? All of these mysterious car accidents and nowhere. He just so happened to wobble and drive off the road. Huh? Keep having a heart attack in his sleep and he 28. Heart palpitations. Be careful, man. Don't sit here and tell me that I'm crazy because I say that I don't be trusting people. Don't listen. If the very person that you lay next to, I don't care what y'all divorcing over. If they are willing to poison you, be very, very aware. Be very, very careful. Let me read some of these super chats and then we're going to go ahead and continue over with the show because we got a lot to get to today. Unlimited Cam says there's a tech conference in Fort Lauderdale, October 19th through the 22nd. I've suggested you for the panel. They should reach out. I realize it's short notice. I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be in a whole nother place making sure that I'm taking care of business. That weekend, the 20th to the 21st, I got something else on my calendar. I'm going to be in a different place because I expected to actually do the meetup during that time. But I had to push it back a couple of weeks because we got a couple things going on. Shout out to Unlimited Cam. I'm not sure if they can afford me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure that they got to bag me because I got a whole nother regimen. I got security, you know what I'm saying? First class flights, top-notch accommodations. We got a whole nother thing that we got to make sure that we taking care of over here. Speeds the B says, cut the evil women off, wife or not. And he was sitting there laying up with this chick every day. Probably was getting a little bit of Gawk 3000. She was happy. If a chick didn't like you the day before, but she's overly excited in order to give you that Gawk the next day, be very careful. Get suspicious. If she's acting out of character and she just changed over and you thought that she just looked at a Kevin Samuels live stream and that was the end of it, be very, very careful. A says probably still going to give her half of his benefits. Not if she in jail. Nope. Wealth Building Journey is in the building, says his one saving grace is that she didn't pass chemistry class. Bleach is highly alkaline and coffee is highly acidic. So there's a neutralizing buffer. Interesting. Shout out to my girl, Miss Crow T. Shetty. She put up the emojis. Don't worry about it. We called her. She in jail. We just got to catch the rest of these hyenas. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, get that Teege Henley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. We appreciate everybody that give a super chat. We don't ask for it, but we highlight it to make sure that we acknowledge everybody that support the platform. Let's move over into the next thing. I think that Brandon Johnson is awesome. Brandon Johnson has to be the most awesome man that I've ever seen in my entire life. I believe that he deserves an award for Politician of the Year. No, let me revise that. Public Servant of the Year. Of the people, for the people, by the people. He one of y'all, boys. Came up, raised right, in the church, leveraging the taxpayers' money in order to support the platforms. Listen, I wanted to bring Brandon Johnson to the front of the congregation yesterday. Y'all said, Philly said, nope. Tie my bootstraps, boy. Are y'all proud in Chicago? I know y'all get mad at me for bringing him to the front of the congregation, but I'm just curious. Are y'all proud of Mayor Brandon Johnson? Is he the highlight of your life? When you look back at his tenure over in Chicago, and I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to get reelected for another term. No doubt. One thing I know about the people in urban cities is A, they do not show up to the polls, right? They only got like a 10% voter turnout rate during the non-local elections. And then B, you guys love pain. You love agony. This is like a bet. Listen, the people of Chicago, I'm not even just going to bring Mayor Brandon Johnson to the front of the congregation. Let me bring Chicago to the front of the congregation. The people in Chicago, y'all ain't nothing but some scorned modern wives. Divorced wives. You love Chicago. Men, women, children, your babies, your grandmother, your grandfather. The people of Chicago, you are nothing but modern women in your spirit. You ain't nothing but Suki Hanas and sexy reds. You can't wait to get in a toxic relationship. Ain't no way in the world you could ever stand with being with somebody that's going to actually help y'all city. You're looking forward to making sure that you stay in a toxic relationship, because if he don't hit you, if he don't take your tax dollars, if he don't kick your ass, sorry, all of the people that's in church that's listening to this and all of the daycares, I'm sorry. Ass is in the Bible, though. If he don't beat you up, then he don't love you. The box ain't as good. Y'all look for makeup box, right? You like that. Listen, it ain't right if it ain't a fight. It ain't right if it ain't a fight. If y'all didn't have that fight, if you ain't fight with him, it ain't gonna hit the same when y'all make up the next day. You know what I'm saying? Because then it's gonna be like, Jody, Chicago, this is y'all fault. Y'all are in a toxic relationship because you are the toxic ones. See, the same way that we hold people accountable, we say, men, you picked her. Woman, you picked him. You knew he wasn't no good for you. He promised you and told you that he wasn't no good for you before he came in, but you opened up your legs to him anyway. That's the same thing that Brandon Johnson is doing to y'all. Brandon Johnson is Pookie and Ray Ray of politicians. Brandon Johnson is the Pookie and Ray Ray of politicians. Budget? Who cares about it? Crisis? Not a big deal. Homelessness? We're not going to worry about it. Crime? Just large gatherings. Y'all seen Lori Lightfoot. Listen, nobody even remembers Lori Lightfoot. Brandon Johnson did such a Uno reverse on y'all for what it is that y'all thought that y'all was getting. Nobody even remembers Lori Lightfoot. Remember Beetlejuice? Nobody even cares about Lori Lightfoot. Brandon Johnson is so bad that nobody is even tripping off of what they think that Lori Lightfoot was a good mayor all of a sudden. Y'all think that Lori Lightfoot was the truth now. Lori Lightfoot looking like a saint. Beetlejuice. Let me get Lori Lightfoot up here so we can give her praise right now. Give her flowers. Lori Lightfoot. My eyes doth deceive me. Hey, Lori. Hold on. Let me give you your flowers, Lori. What up, Lori? Get it, girl. Get it, Lori. Okay, girl. I see you. Make it rain. Hey, Lori. I'm about to make a collage of Lori Lightfoot. Hold on. Before we get into this, let me make a collage of Lori Lightfoot so that we can give Lori her flowers, considering everything that y'all put her through. Y'all, look at how sad y'all had Lori Lightfoot. How disgraceful, how unappreciative you guys are. How unappreciative you are of Lori with all of the things that she did for you. I'm just randomly pulling up Google images. Don't worry about it. We're going to get there. Of all of the things that Lori Lightfoot did for you. Y'all say, hold on, let's get a full body pick up in this joint. We're not going to just go one way. We're going to go the whole way. Let's get a full body pick in here. Woo! My eyes, my eyes, doth my eyes deceive me? Doth my eyes deceive me? No, y'all wanted to sit here and complain about Lori. Remember what y'all had? Remember why y'all voted the way that y'all voted? I'm going to cover my whole live stream up with Lori Lightfoot. Let's see. Let's go one more. Let's go for the jugular. Here we go. I got it. This is it. This is the final nail in the coffin right here. This summarizes Chicago and what we had to go through. Are you guys proud of yourself now? Did I not summarize the last 4.5 years that you guys had to deal with in Chicago? They said I'm so immature. Trendy likes, why am I immature? No, don't sit here and tell me that I'm immature. This is what y'all created. You said that this is what you wanted. Nah? This is what you wanted. This is Chicago. Shout out to Chicago. You said, you know what? We no longer are rocking with Lori Lightfoot. Lori Lightfoot, you deserve all the flowers in the world. Yep. You deserve it. This is the people's champ. This is the people's champ. Don't get mad at me. I didn't have the ability to be able to vote in Chicago. Don't sit here and talk to me crazy. I didn't do nothing about it. I didn't do it. You did it. Why you not mad at yourself? Let's go over to Chicago. Let's see what's happening. We got to keep it going. Let's see what's happening today.
Developing this morning, a new migrant shelter will open today in the Pilsen neighborhood.
It's the latest housing option for asylum seekers in Chicago as even more continue to arrive. CBS 2's Mugo Odigwe joins us live to explain. Good morning, Mugo.
Good morning, Dana and Ryan. So we've learned 5 more buses carrying migrants arrived in Chicago just yesterday. So even as this new shelter opens up today, there's still an urgent need for more shelters, especially as we approach winter. Now, just last night, we know community members gathered over at Benito Juarez Community Academy to discuss the new migrant shelter. The facility at 2241 South Halsted will house up to 400 families with children, with plans to eventually expand capacity to 1,000. It is the latest shelter to open up. Right now, there are 23 shelters operating in the city of Chicago. More than 9,600 migrants are staying in those city-run shelters, but almost 3,000 more are still waiting for housing. And again, more buses carrying migrants are expected to arrive in the next few weeks.
Expansion plans, y'all. Expansion plans in Chicago. Whole buildings. Listen, y'all couldn't get O-Block under control to save y'all life. Y'all had a homelessness crisis over in Chicago since I've been born. Since Twister came out with Adrenaline Rush. Since Twister came out with Adrenaline Rush. Since Twister been playing with y'all emotions. Uh-huh. Yeah. Before Kanye, since Common dropped I Used to Love Her. Since I could remember, y'all had a homelessness crisis. Somehow, some way, they found some money to be able to expand. We're expecting at least a 1,000 family, not individual, families. 10,000 people. More buses on the way. 4, 5, 6, 25 buses arrive every day. And you know what Mayor Brandon Johnson said? Literally word for word. We will remain a sanctuary city. Yes, the greater good and the need of the community is not based off of money. It's not based off of what the taxpayers need. It's not based off of who lives here. It's based off of the need of the people that we don't even know and we didn't even do any checks for to find out whether or not they're worthy of being here in the first place. I think he deserves an award. At the very least, he got balls of steel.
And meanwhile, the crisis at the border not only affecting the border and border cities. This week, a record number of migrant buses arriving in Chicago, the Midwest's largest city.
On their way. They say, you got that, we got more. Y'all gonna remain a sanctuary city? Let me go ahead and pay for their bus ticket to get there. Yeah. It's more on the way.
Receiving at least 27 buses since last Saturday, sometimes without warning, each bus carrying about 50 migrants. Now, the mayor of Chicago thinks he has a solution, inking a $29 million deal to build a winterized tent camp to house the asylum seekers. But as I learned this week, the idea is highly controversial and the need unfolding on city sidewalks is growing by the day.
When you hear that 2,300 migrants are now living at police departments and airports in Chicago, this is what that looks like.
Police departments and airports. Listen, when y'all fly into Chicago and you're going over there and you say, ooh, I'm about to take my chick on a staycation. We just gonna fly over to Chicago. The weather is good. It's 80 degrees, 80 plus degrees. We about to go over to the Miracle Mile, hang out, make sure that we take the kids. We gonna go and walk down the street just in case we got to go over to the police department and make a report. Let me step over this tent. When you go to Chicago, God bless you. This is what you will face when you get there. Tents and more tents and more tents. They say, we see you over there at Los Angeles. We see y'all Skid Row. We gonna one up you. We gonna raise you. We see you 5 tents. We gonna raise you 15. Y'all not gonna outdo us. What y'all thought that Gavin Newsom over there was gonna be over there run it up? Y'all thought that y'all was just gonna be taking dumps over there in San Francisco and we wasn't gonna be over there taking care of business? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We are going to make sure that we create some tents in Chicago's airport. Over here on the streets, there's 2,700 of us that's still waiting to be housed. We need our papers. We willing to work. We willing to take your jobs. We willing to run up the bag, use taxpayer dollars, take your health care, man, don't y'all know? Listen. A lot of people ain't even really taking this into consideration. Y'all know school started. Dang, your schools. Y'all already had 35 kids per classroom. Here's more. 35 kids per classroom, per teacher. Here's more. They got your schooling. You paying for them to go to school. You know your schooling is based off of your tax dollars, right? is based off of your property taxes. You want to know why your property taxes is going up? Because they're raising money in order to make sure that they take care of the people that's coming in. That's going to be your neighbor. Hi, neighbor. I love you.
For days or weeks, migrants and their families spilling onto sidewalks, trying to stay clean and cut their children's hair, trying to keep their temporary space in order.
Look at them. Look at these good people
trying
sweeping.
To distract their children. As the adults are caught in red tape that
playing soccer. Hey!
Doesn't allow them to work, only wait. Javier and his wife have a little 3-year-old girl and a 5-year-old.
¿Cómo te llamas?
Aww. Aww. Making my heartstrings break.
¿Y cuántos años tienes?
3.
10.
They say they left a dire economic situation in Venezuela, but the cartels were waiting for them in Mexico. He said the cartel extorted families trying to pass for $6,000 American per person. He didn't have the money. He and his family managed to escape, but he says many were killed at the hands of the cartel. I asked what he told his daughter during the violent journey.
¿Qué le dijiste a tu hija?
When things were dangerous, I told my daughter that we trust God, that he was going to bring us here, and we have faith we will get here safely.
And your savior was Mayor Brandon Johnson. Took their communion, caught that bus, and Mayor Brandon Johnson was sitting there with his arms open and said, listen, God spoke to me. Spoke to my father. I'm not necessarily a preacher, but I'm definitely a teacher. And God spoke to me. And he said to me, listen, you open up your arms to these people. You open up your arms to these people at somebody else's expense. Listen, you don't have to spend your own money, but just make sure you open up your arms. It's not for them to understand. It's for them to embrace what it is that you have for them. It's not up to you. It's up to God. Told me to use your money and make sure that these people are taken care of. But God. Ain't that what the church folks say? But God. Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
They crossed the Rio Grande and were bused to Chicago more than a week ago. Just one American city of many pushed far past any semblance of capacity.
Won't he do
Almost
it?
30 buses arriving in just the last week.
Just one of the stories we're hearing today, a woman who miscarried and was still bleeding when she was put on the bus here to Chicago. And we are seeing so many migrant camps like this one springing up at police departments, in airports here in Chicago. I want to bring you in here. 2,300 people are living like this right now. And we are hearing so many common stories of extortion that they experienced at the hands of cartels in Mexico. So many families and children here, and just how dangerous, how perilous the journey was.
The Chicago mayor's solution to this: winterized tent cities, drawing sharp criticism from city leaders and civilians in a meeting on Friday.
Putting them in tents is inhumane. It's the sickest thing I ever heard of in my life.
At the meeting, allegations of tent contractor Gardaworld's checkered past repeatedly mentioned.
Oh, now we're starting to get to the money. Looks like everybody is watching the Millionaire Morning Show. Gardaworld. Gardaworld is going to build some tents for $100 million trillion.
American Friends Service Committee found that Gardaworld is one of the companies allegedly involved in mistreating migrant children at the border. NBC reported they are tied to a migrant labor trafficking scheme at U.S.
Not NBC reporting that they're tied to a trafficking scheme at the border. Wait. So is NBC reporting that the very same company that's getting the contract to be able to build Tent City for tens and tens of millions of dollars are also the ones that are allegedly being accused of participating in the very thing that they're building housing for? Say it ain't so. Freaky Jason, is Anton always right? Yes, he is. What did Anton say from the very beginning of this whole conversation? Because it's not just them. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. So while y'all over here being distracted thinking that it's about culture, it's about racism, it's about the poor, it's about the rich. We gonna go over here, we gonna do that. You sitting over here being distracted. Meanwhile, they getting it on both ends. Allegedly. This is what I'm just reporting what NBC is reporting. I'm just reporting what NBC is talking about. If NBC wrong, then hold them accountable. I'm just reporting what News Nation is talking about that NBC is saying. So I just got the word of the word of the word. But I just figured I'd bring this to your algorithm because you guys are not familiar with what's going on out here in these streets. You are so distracted by the things that don't actually add value into your life. Meanwhile, the people over there in Chicago is over there getting finessed.
U.S. military bases. These allegations caused Denver to cancel their contract with GardaWorld in July. News Nation reached out to GardaWorld. In a statement, it said in part, quote, "We categorically refute all allegations of abuse or neglect in any GardaWorld company operations or activities. We highly value the safety and well-being of the people and communities where we operate."
Look like we're going to have to do a little bit of digging. Look like we got some work to do. Look like we got some journalistic work to do in order to ensure that we find out where the money is going. But ultimately, what is Anton trying to communicate to you guys? What is Anton trying to communicate to you guys as the community rallies together to try to figure out what's going on with the migrant crisis?
We have several new developments tonight in Chicago's migrant crisis.
First, a stern call from Governor Pritzker for the White House to do more about the crisis. In a public letter, the governor directly asked President Biden to intervene in the border busing program that has brought thousands of migrants to Chicago. He went on to call the situation untenable and again asked for expedited work authorizations. He said the state is struggling to find more housing for the migrants as tensions rise throughout the city.
And throughout emphasizing that everything is untenable, because they think that just because we see students that we can't use our context clues to understand what the heck is going on. Because everything is untenable, right? We need to expedite the ability for these people to be able to get their work visas in order to ensure that they can start taking care of themselves and then be able to get all of the work that they need in order to ensure that they can work and take jobs from y'all. Oof. So much money going everywhere, every and which way. We don't even know where the money is going. But we got to make sure that we get these people to work. Because the situation is untenable. Shout out to the best mayor in the United States of America. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even think that Mayor Brandon Johnson knows his right from his left. I don't even think that he has a clue. I believe that he's just a puppet. He's just a puppet. He is just one piece. He's the face. The face of the, if you look at Mayor Johnson, honestly, in my opinion, if you look at Mayor Brandon Johnson and you pay attention to how it is that he's responding and how he looks like a deer in headlights whenever they start to ask questions, he don't even look like he have a clue. He has no clue of what the heck is going on. He's just go ahead and just funneling in and just doing what he's told to do, in my opinion. He looks like he's just doing what he's told to do. He looked like a puppet. Is this what y'all call keeping it real? I'll stay on top of it for you guys. That's one thing that I can promise you. As long as I have breath inside of my little chinny chin, you can guarantee I'm going to follow where that twin is going. You know what I'm saying? Let me read some of these super chats and then we're going to get to the money. We going to get to the money. Tashala Bennett says, looking to open up my books for nail services, so I'll be sending that email your way. Holla at your boy. Make sure you tap in because Anton is going to try to get it popping. And yo, city. David Williams is in the building, says, if you hit the Powerball, would you take the $270 million in cash now or $572 million over 30 years? Figures are post-tax. Well, Anton will never play the Powerball. That's number one. I believe in dollar cost averaging. The conversation that we should be having is if you took $1 or $2, $3 every single day, and you invested that money, and then you got a 6 to 10% return on your money, how much would that compound interest net you over your lifetime? But to answer your question, I would take the $270 million in cash now. Pay me my money now. And then I'm going to, because I have the insight and understanding on how to leverage that money in order to make sure that I can get rid of it and then can increase my net worth and then leverage that money in order to continue to live off of it instead of letting them leverage the money and then to pay me the interest over a period of time. I want my 270 M's now. But I think that you should dollar cost average anyway and stop playing the lottery. That's just my personal opinion. But thank you for the question. I like these questions. I want my money now. Cap God 89 says, are you ever going to do an interview with Prince Ella, the Queen Maker? Well, you should never say never. I heard that she wrote about me in her book. Somebody sent me a clip, and shout out to my favorite instigator, B. Taylor TB. We love you, B. Taylor. First of all, Anton is dedicated to not having any beef with anybody going forward. So shout out to B. Taylor. Shout out to Prince Ella, the Queen Maker. Congratulations on building a phenomenal platform. And I would never say never. I'm always open to having a good discussion. You know what I'm saying? It just has to make sense for me. It has to make sense for me. So, again, congratulations on her book. I'm sure that it sold a lot more copies now that you've mentioned that my name is in it. You know what I'm saying? However, it has to make sense. So never say never. But as of right now, I can't really see it. But thank you for giving her a little bit of a shout out on the platform. At least you paid $5 for it. I appreciate you. Shout out to Cap God 89. Knowledge is real is in the building. Says, I'm going to drop this fireball into the collection plate. Yeah. Chris Sean Humphrey is in the building. Shout out to Chris Sean. Says, so those migrants will be having street addresses or tent addresses. Yeah. It's an interesting dynamic that we're observing right here. Knowledge is real says sanctuary city or military base for foreign militias. I don't know. I'm just following the money. You guys are smarter than me. You the people that send it to me in my email. I just sort through it to figure out how it is that I can capsulize it and then give it to you guys in order to make sure that you guys get all of the information and then you can make your own informed decisions. Persevere Data TV is in the building. Oh my God. Bro, it's like how the mega churches take the tithes and the offerings and go help a village in a third world country, but in reverse. Absolutely. I agree with that, Persevere Data TV. Brittany B says, create a problem you have a solution for. Now you understanding how politics work, Brittany. Shout out to you and my people. My girl, hold on. Let me give my girl, birthday girl, Sherelle. Shout out to birthday girl Sherelle in the building. Says, good morning, Anton. I'm doing a birthday stream later today. I would love if you would just stop by at 7 p.m. Central. 7 p.m. Central is 8 p.m. Eastern, right? I'm going to try to mark that in my calendar. I'm not going to make any promises, but I'm definitely going to make that an agenda specific important meeting on my calendar. And if I can make it, I'm definitely going to be there. I got to check my schedule, and I don't even know if I got any coaching calls or if I'm going to be on the road. But Sherelle, happy birthday, and I'm definitely going to try to make your birthday stream later. Thank you to Sherelle, my baby girl. I appreciate you. David Simpson Jr. says immigration is a federal problem. Hashtag federalism. Shout out to you, David Simpson Jr. I appreciate you for pouring into the platform. And thank you to everybody that super chats, cash apps, all of that. You guys are absolutely awesome. And let me make sure that everybody in the chat wish happy birthday over to Sherelle. She's awesome. Y'all ready to get to the money? Y'all ready to really get to the money? Y'all ready to pay attention to what's going on in the industry and getting past all of this nonsense so we can get to that bag and Anton can start breaking down the things that he really wants to break down? This is the Redfin CEO, okay? The Redfin CEO specifically is talking about the housing market and what's going on with it. Now, I'm going to give you what it is that they say, and then I'm going to break it down from a C student's perspective, okay? Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and then more importantly, share this with a friend and family. And if you want to level up and go in a direction and align yourself with a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in, make sure you tap into the Patreon. That link is in the description. And then last but not least, tap into the Discord. The link to the Discord is in the description of any of the most recent posts inside of the Patreon. Let's get into it, y'all.
Joining us now is Redfin CEO Glenn Kelman. Glenn, welcome back. Good to see you.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
So we know these high mortgage rates are wreaking havoc on the housing market. They're a disaster. How big of a disaster is it right now?
Well, it's been a slow building disaster, so I don't think it feels more apocalyptic now than it did 4 months ago. The housing market is just taking a beating because affordability is at a 4-decade low. And so at some point, we just need to catch a break from the Federal Reserve, and that doesn't seem likely to happen in 2023.
Now, you cannot have it both ways, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to go and deep dive into this. It all starts to come together, and this is why you have to make sure that you tuned into the Millionaire Morning Show every single morning. And if you do not catch it, because you may have a meeting, right? I understand a lot of y'all at work, a lot of y'all truck drivers, you got to get out, take care of your business, unhitch, get all your little stuff signed off and whatever, right? Because it all comes back down to the money. And one of the reasons that it comes back down to the money is because I've been breaking down inflation, how inflation then affects what it is that you got going on in your personal life, how that affects housing. Then the Fed has to raise rates because that's one of the tools that they have in order to fight inflation, right? It's the main tool that they have because they can't necessarily control the market. They can manipulate the market, but they can't necessarily control the market, right? And then, so they start to raise rates. Most people say, well, we need to get down inflation. We need to get down inflation. Well, your inflation, meaning the cost for you to do business and then be able to buy and purchase goods and services, is still going to go up. You know why? Because you want to buy a house, and everybody has been selling you on the idea that, well, you need to get out of renting and make sure that you go and get a mortgage, because at least you can continue to keep up with the rate of inflation because the value of your house is going to continue to go up, right? Well, 7% now versus a year ago or 2 years ago when you were doing 3.5% is a much different payment, because most people are doing payments. Shout out to Big Pete. I'm going to be reading on Super Chat shortly. Most people equate what it is that they're going to do or where they're going to live based off of how much their mortgage payment is going to be. All right. So affordability is the total cost in order for you to be able to survive, thrive, and then to continue to have housing over your head. That's affordability. The difference with affordability versus what it is that you're talking about as far as inflation. Remember, we're going to break this down from a C student's perspective. Inflation is the value of your dollar continuing to go down, which means that the cost of doing business is going to continue to go up. When we see people protesting, right? I heard that there was protesting over in somewhere at Taco Bell for $30 an hour somewhere. Y'all got to, no, Waffle House. Y'all got to send me that email. Somebody send me the email of Waffle House employees protesting for $30 an hour, right? We seen this happening a year ago, 2 years ago, when they was protesting. Oh, my God. Okay, Corey. Corey says, Anton, you just lost me. The Federal Reserve is the reason we have inflation. I thought you were smarter than that. No, the Federal Reserve is not the reason that we have inflation. The Federal Reserve is not the reason that we have inflation entirety. There's a lot of different factors that goes into why we have inflation, right? Pandemic. I don't really want to deep dive into that because that's a sensitive subject and I don't want to get deplatformed or get demonetized or anything like that. When you see that things are playing out, when you pay attention to what's going on with as far as how much money we're giving over to Ukraine, when you talk about debt, credit, when you talk about the manufactured housing crisis that we had in 2008, when you're talking about $33+ trillion in debt, when you're talking about the cost of living, then people are starting to protest, talking about how much they need as far as per hour in order to do so. Those costs are then passed over into the consumer. When you're talking about the cost of oil, infrastructure, building, taxes, all of those things fall into what inflation is, because the value of a dollar is not even worth the paper that it's printed on. The value of the dollar is based off of our belief in it. Listen to me. The value of a dollar is based off of your belief in it. It's not even worth the paper that it's printed on. Your inflation might be different from my inflation based off of what your lifestyle is. Our currency used to be backed by things that were held in the Federal Reserve, but now it has no inherent value. So now that is translated into what your belief in that dollar is, which is why rich people continue to get rich, because we then put all of our money into assets. We don't necessarily hold it in the cash. Okay? So since it used to be backed by something that was in the Federal Reserve, and it's no longer backed by anything inside of the Federal Reserve, the value of it is based off of what our lifestyle is. Correct, DLC, like gold. But since they continue to print more money and put it into circulation, the value of that dollar continues to go down because it's not necessarily backed by anything other than your belief in it. So because we're interdependent on it in order to have goods and services and not kill each other, they're able to print more money, which then devalues the dollar itself. Now let's continue on home sales, because I'm going to translate that for you guys and then help you to bring that into your purview so you can understand how that's going to affect you and your future house hunting services, your real estate purchases, and your investment opportunities as far as building the assets that's going to beat the rate of inflation. Okay?
Is it having the desired effect on prices, on rents, given it's also coming up against this backdrop of super low inventories?
That is the problem. So it has certainly depressed employment in the real estate sector, but it hasn't hurt prices. Prices keep going up. Usually in a downturn like 2008, people don't want to sell, but they have to sell because foreclosure is imminent. In this case, we have had a soft landing. The rest of the economy is doing well. People are not in dire economic straits. And with a 3% mortgage, there's no way they're going to put that house on the market. So we've had a downturn in sales volume, but an upturn in prices. And that means that the sales volume crimp is just going to last a long, long time.
So as long as interest rates stay high, you'll have less people selling their home, because if they sold their home, where would they go? If you sell your home and then you take the equity out of the home, unless you're making an investment, it's foolish for you to either sell your home, get a home equity line of credit, or to continue to cash out the value in your home, because then you'd have to operate under a higher interest rate. Your interest rate would change. Your interest rate would change, meaning that you'd be paying more for the same money. Before, they used to say money was cheap when interest rates were low. That means that I can make more money off the money, taking the value out of it in order to buy more assets. Now, if you decide that you wanted to buy a house, you'd have to sell the current home that you're in. Let's look at it from two different perspectives, right? Let's say you're a first-time home buyer or you're a current home owner, and you want to actually move to a different place in the United States. Your job is transferring you. You want to move the kids over here. You actually want to move down south or whatever, so on and so forth, right? And you still have a mortgage on that house. Most people have a mortgage on their house because they have a 30-year mortgage, because that's what was marketed to you by the banks, right? But very few people actually want to sell, because when they have to go and purchase another home because they don't have the cash to buy it outright, they'd have to get another mortgage. They're basing it off of what their payment is going to be, and nobody wants to take a 7% interest rate when you already at 3.5%, because that's a huge gap. That could be an extra $1,500 a month, $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, depending on the price of the home that you purchase. A month. And that is not even a total cost of what it takes in order for you to have home ownership, a perceived home ownership, because you also got to take into account the property taxes. Property taxes, maintenance, utilities. When you sell that home, you also have to pay 3 or 6%, depending on whether or not you are the realtor or not. Realtors specifically are suffering right now because A, nobody wants to buy their home, and then B, the people that are purchasing homes are purchasing it at a higher interest rates, which means that their affordability is lower. The amount of money that they have to be able to purchase a home, how much you have to put down for a down payment. So what do? Let's continue to hear what the CEO of Redfin is saying.
Yeah, we've had some in the realty business suggest that ongoing demographic trends, marriages, having kids.
Somebody said, I was unaware. Look. This is people trying to debate me. I was unaware that different inflation rates, I was unaware there are different inflation rates from person to person. Well, it absolutely is. because how inflation affects you is much different than how it affects me. The cost of me having to be able to do business and use goods and services every day is much lower than yours because I am not affected by what's going on in the housing market. I'm benefiting from it. I don't have any mortgages. I don't have any loans out. As a matter of fact, let's just say, for example, you own an electric car, but you own a house. The cost for you to be able to drive that car, if you charge it up at home, is higher than mine because it doesn't cost me to charge it anything. So the cost of you being able to operate on a daily basis means that inflation is affecting you differently. I don't have to go to the grocery store and be able to spend the type of money that you spend at the grocery store. I don't have to leverage money the same way that you leverage money. And see, this is the reason why you guys need to get understanding, because you guys are just talking. It doesn't necessarily mean you have any understanding. You just talking based off of a talking point, not based off of your real life. And this is why I don't want y'all to mute anybody in the chat, because they don't have any understanding. Yes, inflation affects you differently. The rates that you're affected by is much different than what it is that it affects me by, because it depends on where you live in the country, right? And what your lifestyle is, and whether you interdependent on something else in order for you to be able to feed your kids. Absolutely, you're affected differently with regard to the inflation rates. I'm not affected by what's going on with inflation as far as the rates that the banks are giving out for mortgages, because I don't have a mortgage. Everything that I'm doing, I'm paying cash for. So you can go by whatever the rate that the federal government gives you, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you're paying with regard to the rate of inflation as it affects your life personally. It's an individual thing, but we have to extrapolate it from what it is that they're giving us in a general sense. From a C student's perspective, this is the most basic explanation that you can use in order to make sure that you make adjustments to your own personal life. And this is one of the reasons why I show you the receipts and I show you how to build certain things, how to be able to build certain businesses, how you can build your own home for much cheaper, right? Is it better for you to buy land and build? Can you do it without any financing? The cost of you being able to do business in the real estate market depends on what part of the business that you're in. Do you need a hard money loan? What's the holding period? How much is the cost going to be as far as you building a home in Detroit or Michigan versus down there in Texas? And then what is the building materials going to cost? Huh? Let's continue.
College, even dying, means that the industry will churn through some of these rate levels, which, of course, we coexisted with a couple decades ago. I wonder if you think that's too Goldilocks.
No, I mean, if you look at the number of existing home sales in the United States, it goes between 4 and 6 million.
Read that. I'm going to read that super chat shortly.
Went to a 6.5 billion annualized rate, nearly 7, but it's never gone below 4 since we've been tracking it, and the population is about 10% larger than the last time we hit that low, which was in 2008. So we are now at the most basic level of Maslow's hierarchy, where shelter is a human need. The only people who are moving are the ones who absolutely have to. And there are people who are relocating because they're being called back to work, or they get a divorce, or there's a death in the family. So those are the only reasons that people are moving. I wouldn't call that a Goldilocks scenario. I would call that rock bottom.
Hey, listen, don't worry about the troll, the main troll in the chat. He always disagrees with everything, whether we're talking about relationships, money, interest rates, housing, real estate, professionalism with regard to your job, modern women. Come on, man, y'all should pay attention to this. You know what's going to happen. Let them rock. They learning just like you are. They just projecting as though they actually know something that they really don't. Let's continue.
But that's where we are right now. And the only relief is that it can't go much lower. We haven't seen 3.7 million homes sold across the United States since we've been tracking the number. 4 is about as low as it can go.
So then, Glenn, how are you thinking about and planning your business around 2024? Is it a recovery year for real estate? Are you making moves in anticipation around hiring agents, or more downbeat?
Do you remember when Rambo is asked, Rambo, how will you live? And he says, day by day. That's how we're
Come on, man. Just answer the question. You don't have to give any bad jokes.
planning this business. We can't look 3, 6, 9 months out. What we face right now is 7.5% mortgages, 4 million annualized home sales rate, We're living in the now. And if things get better, that'll all be upside in the business.
How is your business dealing with the changing rate environment?
I don't really care about what Redfin's business is. Let me move over into the next thing because we want to pay attention to what mortgage rates are doing to the housing market across the United States.
And my next guest warns that the recent rise in mortgage rates will test the resiliency of all those new home sales. And he's forecasting fewer than 5 million total homes will be sold this year. That's the fewest in 12 years. Joining us now is Douglas Duncan, Fannie Mae's chief economist. And we are also pleased to be joined by real estate pro Don Peebles, chair and CEO of the Peebles Corp, to weigh in on all of this. So welcome to you both. Doug, I'll just start with you. And I think it's important, especially for investors who've been so focused on the strength of the home builder index, to understand that the housing market broadly is still, well, how would you describe it? Quite slow.
Yeah, it's a tough market. If you're a realtor or a mortgage lender, you're feeling like this is a serious recession. If you think about it, we went from about 6 million homes at an annual pace down to about a little over 4 million homes at an annual pace. That's roughly a third drop in the business in your industry. So when you put on top of that the disappearance of the refinance business, it's feeling really rough for the mortgage space.
Right.
It's really funny because, interestingly enough, I've been in banking for a long time, and a lot of you guys already know that. You know that my background is in banking, right? And I remember during the pandemic, it was literally a run. It was everybody was coming in to either get refinanced or they were getting approved for a mortgage because interest rates were so low, and everybody was refinancing their home. Either they were refinancing their home, or they were trying to purchase new homes. Now, the caveat to that is, and we had a ton of people that was running into the bank all at the same time. Remember, multiple different factors was happening here. Money was cheap because the federal government had to incentivize you to continue to spend. They were giving out cheap money on top of it, right? And then people were working from home. So since more people were home, people were spreading out. They were moving out. They were moving out from major cities in order to buy properties that was outside of where they would normally be. Now everybody has to move back into the city, or they have to make a trek back into the city. And so they're affected by that. But everybody got trapped in the home. And also on top of that, people were purchasing homes. People were purchasing homes way above the actual rate that they were listed at. People were getting homes $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 over the asking price for those homes with no inspection whatsoever. No inspection whatsoever. People were buying homes $100,000, $200,000 above asking with no inspection whatsoever. And what it did was it accelerated the amount of people that were actually applying for a home that was getting approved for a loan, or who was going to do a refinance. And so now those same people are sitting on those same rates because they're afraid to pull money out of their house regardless of how they're going to use it or what their plan is, because the interest rate was so low and they don't want that much higher payment as a result of it. Remember that. They accelerated the amount of people that were going to refinance because money was so cheap and the federal government was incentivizing you to continue to keep the industry flowing. Whereas now, and that's one of the reasons that inflation exploded, whereas now they have to continue to raise rates in order to fight the rate of inflation.
And I guess sort of on...
Which back then, I told you guys that you weren't going to start feeling the effects of what's going on with regard to inflation until much later. Now we have people sitting here. Complaining about the rate of inflation. They got a whole TikTok trend that's happening right now in which the majority of people are complaining about the rate of inflation and that they can't afford regular everyday things, and the prices that they have to pay for all of the stuff that they're doing on a regular basis is out of control.
To that point is the question about whether the strength we've seen in the pockets of home building and for the stocks that we've been following can continue, because as rates go higher, you're saying it's all the more important they continue to do buy downs or something to make this more affordable.
Yeah, what's unusual in this environment is typically housing is, if not the most interest rate sensitive, the one of the most interest rate sensitive sectors. So when the Fed starts raising rates, typically construction starts to slow. That's the first part of the cycle. And then that's followed by sales on the way down. In this environment, because the boomers are doing what they said they were going to do and aging in place, and because the Gen Xers have locked in 3% mortgages, it's really all on the back of the builders to increase supply. So this has been a pretty good.
Which is one of the reasons why, what are we doing inside of the Patreon? Building houses. Building houses. One of the things that we're doing, and this is the reason why I'm documenting the process for you guys in order to give you the insight, because I would never tell you to do something that I haven't already done. That is why we've been purchasing land over the last few years. Remember that I told y'all that I was purchasing land? I was showing y'all the receipts inside of the Patreon. Y'all couldn't understand, why is Anton not jumping into the real estate market, getting these same turnkey properties, and then renting them out and holding on to them for the extended period of time? Because I was unwilling to pay the prices that they were paying. And so I adjusted my strategy in order to make sure that I pivoted and then profited the way that I was supposed to profit, because I did not want to participate in it just because everybody else was doing it. I've been telling y'all this. I've been really highlighting and prepping y'all for what is going to happen for over 3 years now.
Good market for them, surprisingly, even though the rates have been rising. Demographics are in their favor, and the slow supply suggests it's going to be the builders that are going to be adding to supply and trying eventually equaling things out between buyers and the sellers.
So let me pivot for a second. I want to switch up for a minute. All right. Let's do that. Let me read a few of the super chats because we're going to deep dive. We got a little bit more to cover because I want to get over into the auto loan crisis, and I also want to get over into student loans, okay? Because student loans hit this week. It started back this Sunday. And a lot of y'all have student loans, and we definitely want to highlight that and have that conversation with you guys. Let me read some of these super chats because I don't want to get behind. Justin K is in the building, a fellow real estate investor of mine. Says, bro, you missing the bag. Buy some land, build tiny homes and rent them to the government for migrants. Might be hell to manage, though. No, Justin, you know I've been buying land for a long time. I am building homes on them, but I will not be renting them over into the federal government for migrants because I do not have the time to be sitting here trying to. Man, have you ever rented to a Section 8 tenant? I ain't going to get into it. No, Justin. See, Justin is a different type of investor than I am. Me and Justin got different philosophies. But no way, Justin. You know I'm not doing it. Shout out to my guy. I appreciate you. Big Pete DC says, happy 200K, big dog. I see you in DC, bro. Shout out to y'all for the meetup. Corey is in the building, says, Anton, the Federal Reserve prints our money for us at an interest rate that we can never pay back. This is a fact that Republican Ron Paul has spoken on for many years. They killed Kennedy and Lincoln. I agree. But what do you mean by an interest rate that we can't pay back? Are you talking about the federal government itself? We'll get into that. Shout out to, actually, let me give you this one. Shout out to Corey for the super chat. I appreciate you. Toby Chronicle says, thanks for the birthday shout out last week. But heads up, 3811 Van Dyke Ave, Sterling Heights. May go, oh, okay, so you're talking about the plan. May go strike by Friday, just delivered yesterday. Shout out to the Toby Chronicles. I appreciate you. Thank you, my friend. Dr. Deese is in the building with the 20 ball. Said, peace and love, brother. I'm in the Patreon and the Discord trying to figure out the best way to get more active. If you can dedicate a second to us internet illiterate folks. I am planning on, I think I'm going to do a live stream this Sunday in the Patreon exclusive only. I think I'm going to do a Patreon exclusive live stream this Sunday. And I already told y'all that the UAW was going to focus on trying to collapse the auto industry, which is absolutely going to destroy a lot of these other industries. But that's my prediction. We'll see what's going to happen. My dog, Justin K, got a super chat. He said, you should do a show on just real estate and bring other investors from different states to discuss the markets, inventory, and strategies. That's not a bad idea. I don't know if I would want to do that publicly. I think I would want to do that as a Patreon exclusive, though. My lower-end buyers being killed by interest rates. The higher-end deals are being funded by cash. Yep, I agree. There's no middle class. I'm pivoting my business into government rentals, guaranteed money. I don't know, Justin. We're going to have a conversation about that. Hit me up, Justin, and we're going to have a conversation about that. New Era's in the building. You said cybersecurity would be a great field to get into yesterday. Is coding required? What part of cybersecurity would you recommend? Email me, antondaniels413@gmail.com, and I can point you in the right direction because I actually got some people that are part of the Bag Chasers and Patreon members that are in the cybersecurity field, and they are recruiting, and they'll tell you all of the criteria and what they recommend specifically. So shout out to New Era. I appreciate you. It's Jakester says, keep your personal overhead low and you'll be fine. Most want to live like a baller. That is true also. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Let's continue over with the show. Let's talk about the affordability crisis, okay, with regard to autos. Delinquencies are up. Did y'all know that loans on cars, allegedly, and I am just going based off of the reports that's being submitted to me, loans on cars had a higher delinquency than they were during a recession. Loans on cars are at a higher delinquency than they were during a recession. Let's deep dive into it a little bit. Let me see if I can get this up for y'all. Give me a second. I want to move over into a specific part of it.
Housing, the current rate on a fixed 30-year mortgage sitting at 7.3%. 2 years ago, that number was 3.03%. To talk about what those rate rises mean, let's bring in Ted Rossman, Senior Industry Analyst at Bankrate. Ted, welcome. Good to have you with us. So
now I'm going to tie in the real estate market with what it is that we see with regard to debt and then delinquencies in the automotive market.
That jump from 3% to above 7%, what does it do to purchasing power for a home buyer? How much does it cut it?
It cuts your purchasing power by about 40%. So in other words, if you could afford a $375,000 house at 3%, now with rates over 7%, you're probably looking at something like a $225,000 house. And there aren't that many of those. That's another key point, is that low inventory plus high rates, we're talking high prices, high rates. It's a tough situation.
So it's a tough situation. So I guess if I were in the market to buy, what I would be doing if I were faced with that dilemma would be looking at adjustable rate mortgages where I can at least buy some time at a lower rate and maybe get into that $375,000 house, even though I would not have the certainty of a 30-year fix. Is that what's happening?
Some people are talking about dating the rate and marrying the house, as in you're betting on refinancing down the road. I still think, though, that the 30-year fixed is the best gauge of affordability. I mean, it may not always be the best product for everybody, but it's just a slippery slope. You know, if you're betting on refinancing, and what if that doesn't work out for one reason or another? Rates don't move as expected, or you lose your job, or you have to move and sell the house. I think there's some risk here. Another thing we're seeing is that home builders and sellers are sometimes offering incentives, like rate buy downs, for example, to cushion the blow for buyers.
So, Ted, we've been focusing on the impact to the housing market. The auto market is a little bit different, but it's still massive. I think the second biggest in terms of outstanding debt, and we're seeing many more cracks there already than we are on the housing side of it. What's going on with autos?
Subprime auto delinquencies are actually worse now than they were during the Great Recession. And I think
subprime auto delinquencies, meaning there are less people that actually qualify from a credit perspective that were getting approved, which is one of the signs of whether or not you're actually either A, going into a recession, or the health of the United States of America as far as our financial markets. On Sunday, what I like to do, and one of the reasons why, really I had a couple of different reasons why I was at the dealership. On Sunday, I was at the dealership, right? And the dealerships aren't open on Sunday, but some of you see me drop a video on the Anton Daniels channel on Sunday evening that basically highlighted, and I was speaking to a specific subject that was unrelated to cars, but I highlighted what it was that I was looking to buy soon, right? And so one of the things that I was actually looking to buy was a Sprinter van or a E-Transit, right? A transit van. Transit van is from Ford, or a Sprinter van is over there from basically Mercedes, okay? I like the transit van. I think that they gave some great updates to it. I also like the electric version. I'm probably not going to get the electric version. Probably get the gas version because I don't think that it has enough mileage on it. The electric version, they need to increase the mileage on it. But I was talking about it, right? But one of the things I was able to observe and that I was able to see is I was able to look at all of the different cars that was sitting on the auto lots. All of the different cars that was sitting on the auto lots. I seen rows and rows and rows and rows and rows and rows of the top selling vehicles in America, including the F-Series and the F-150, right? All of these different brands. And so I got curious and I started driving down other lots in different parts of the cities all around Michigan, right? I started driving about, oh, there go the troll again, Kevin Williams. Shout out to Cav. I appreciate you for trolling. But I started driving around because it was important for me to actually start paying attention, and I had a light bulb moment. And I was trying to understand, okay, well, number one, how is this UAW strike actually affecting the automakers? I started doing some research, and what I found is that the automakers overbuilt in order to prepare so that they'd have enough inventory to service customers and that you wouldn't have any interruption for people that was actually purchasing vehicles. So it's a ton of cars out there for y'all to be able to buy whatever it is that you want. You literally can go and get any car. There is no car that you cannot have from the Detroit Automotive Big Three in order to be able to buy whatever it is that you want. There are so many cars that are available, right? That's the first thing. The second thing that I noticed is I started doing a little bit of research as far as auto delinquencies, because I started seeing a whole lot of used cars all over these same new car lots. Now, we know that the interest rates on used cars are much higher and that dealerships make a lot more money with regard to used cars than they are to new cars. Also, when you start to compare it against, now we know Kevin ain't gonna cam up because I dropped the link in the chat on Friday and Wednesday of last week in order for these people to cam up on Friday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and ain't nobody camming up. They all gonna say, oh, no, I'm at work, I'm busy, all of this other type of stuff. Ain't none of these people camming up. Stop it. We already had this conversation. It's not gonna happen. Let's just continue to let's continue to cook. Let's stop being distracted. So listen, the interest rates on these used cars is much greater than the newer cars because the dealerships actually own the used cars and then they can set the rates for whatever it is that they want to finance it for from the financing company, right? The new cars are incentivized as far as what it is that they're financing them for, right? GMAC, Ford Credit, all of these other places, right? But the used cars can be financed by anybody. The new cars can be financed by anybody too, but then they incentivize them and they can also, they set the purchase price for what it is that they want the margins to be on what it is that they bought it for versus what it is that they want to sell it for. And then the finance company make their money off the interest rates of whatever it is that you rock out with, right? It just is what it is. So when we see that auto delinquencies are up across the board, but then they also say that it's rivaling that of 2008, that actually gives me more insight into what people's finances are like every single day, because the affordability of these cars are out of control just in the same way that the affordability of homes are. Most people cannot afford the cars that they're driving, right? The true cost of that car is much higher than what it is that we're giving it credit for. So I can give you an example. When you purchase a car, most people, they take into consideration how much the purchase price of the car going to be. Nope, they don't. They take into consideration how much the loan is going to be. And then they finance it for longer, right? Meaning that instead of you just getting a 3, 4, 5 year loan, right? 48, 60, 36 month financing, because you were supposed to get something that can get you to point A to point B safely. Instead of them doing that, they spend more time and more money because they're financing it for 72 and 84, and I've even seen 96-month loans. 72, 84, 96-month loans. So they get a little bit lower of a payment, but they're going to be paying more interest over a period of time, which the actual cost of that car is going to be significantly more than whatever the MSRP or the purchase price is of that car. Most people finance based off of the affordability. How much is my car payment going to be? Not necessarily exactly how much the true cost of the car is, right? And then now that we've seen people stretch out the loan itself, but delinquencies are going up even higher, means that the affordability rate, yes, 96 months, go and look it up, means that the affordability rate is crazy also. Let's continue.
That speaks to the impact of higher prices. The average new car price is approaching $50,000. For a lot of people, that means a monthly payment around $800.
The average monthly payment is about $800. I remember when $50,000 car used to be that thing. Like, you used to be able to ride that bitch out. 50 bands for a car? Oh, you was getting you something. 50 bands for a car? You was getting you something. $800 a month? That's not even the true cost of the car. That's just the car payment. That's just going over to the finance company. That ain't the cost to be able to insure it. The higher the value of the car, a lot of y'all keep saying what y'all would do if y'all got $1 million, if you made 6 figures. The higher the value of the car, the higher the insurance payment is. You see what my insurance payments are? I pay $1,800 a month in insurance for all 5 of my cars. Total. Because the higher the value of the car, the higher insurance payment is. When you go to renew the tags every single year, it's crazy. It's crazy the amount of money that they charge you based off of the value and the weight of the car. Escalades used to be $50,000. Now they starting at $130 if you get a certain type of Escalade. $100,000 for an Escalade. It used to be 50 bands. You can't get no pickup work truck and get it cheap no more. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Think about it. If the average car payment is around $800 a month, that's $9,600 a year, which is basically 10 bands a year. Now, if y'all telling me that the average black man makes somewhere between $47,000 and $50,000 a year, if the average black man makes between $47,000 and $50,000 a year, but he paying $10,000 a year in car payments, that ain't even including insurance, that ain't including gas, that ain't including maintenance, tires, none of that. You're telling me that the affordability rate is not crazy? And that's just for a basic car. That's for a Ford Edge, not even an Explorer, right? If the average car price is 50 bands, that should really tell you how out of whack our priorities are and how out of whack used car prices and new car prices are. Somebody said a Toyota Tundra is $100,000. I'm about to pull this up.
And with people getting squeezed by inflation in other areas of their lives, not to mention car-related categories like car insurance, which is way up, gas prices have started to tick up. This is why people are falling behind. It's tough to swing that $800 a month payment.
Wow.
Can I come back to housing for just a second, Ted, and ask a question? I remember a time, which shows my age, when fixed mortgages, were often assumable by the person who's buying the house. Why is that no longer the case? Did the banking business just decide, hey, this is a bad deal for us, we're not going to let people assume mortgages?
It's actually prohibited on conventional federally backed mortgages. It is allowed in some isolated instances with certain FHA loans and VA loans, but we're talking about a much smaller slice of the market. It would be nice, though, to take over somebody's 3 or 4% rate, because that's a key point. 80% of current homeowners have a mortgage rate below 5%. That's why people don't want to move or trade up right now, because that 3 or 4% rate is going to become 7 or 8.
Well, Tyler, you should head out to. There is a company called.
I want to see something really quickly. Give me a second. Let's do this. Let's build it out. Let's see what's happening out here in these streets. Vehicles. Where are all of the effing cars at? Well, we know this one is starting off at $130,000. The Cadillac IQ, which is the electric version of the Cadillac, is starting off at $130,000, right? An Escalade starts at $80,000 as shown, 100 bands. An Escalade starts. That means that you just get the basic one, no bells, no whistles. This is the old one. This ain't even a new version of it. Starts at $80,000 a year. Let me build out to see how expensive I can make this Ford F-150. Oh, you can get a basic one. You can get this basic joint. It ain't got no back seat. This mug, literally, it looked just like this. Look just like this. Don't it look like this? It looked just like on my Yeezy slide. This car, this basic A car looked just like my Yeezy slide. Facts. All right. Sorry, let me see if I can build out one of these joints. And let's see if I can get it up to 100 bands real quick. So let's go back. The Raptor start at 77. The Platinum start at 73. So let's go with the Platinum because I know, listen, we don't do nothing but Platinum. Bling, bling. Every time you come around my city, bling, bling. 63, 64, 74. 74. So let's go with that bling, bling. Every time you come around my city, bling, bling. All right, this looks like a pretty basic truck. We want to get some colors on it. Man, I don't care nothing about all of this stuff. So as of right now, if I get this car, I'm not doing all of that. Let's just go over to the payment. If I lease it today, I'm going to be paying $792 a month for a lease, for a 48-month lease. A 39-month lease is $82 with a $7,600 down payment. If I finance it with a $7,500 down payment and I finance it for 84 months, I'll be paying $1,100 a month for this truck. For the F-150 Platinum. Wow. Wow. See what Toyota is doing over here. Vehicles. Y'all said the Tundra is how much? That's a Tacoma, Tundra. Let's go with that one. Starting at $40,000. Obviously, you're going to get the base model. Let's build it out. Let's do a comparative model. Capstone. All right. $78,000. View details. You get 22-inch dark rims. Wow. Wow. That's pretty awesome. Listen, man, I think that all of these prices is out of whack, honestly. You can get you a $50,000 truck over here. $45,000 truck over there. I think all of these prices is out of whack. I honestly do. I just wouldn't even be bothered. Just stay and rock out with whatever it is that you got. Don't sit here trying to keep up with the Joneses. Auto delinquencies is up. It's going to be a ton of people that get a bunch of repos. They then crashed them out and did all of this. I'm not paying $70,000 for a pickup. I don't even like pickup trucks, so it's a little different for me. Let me read some of these super chats, and then let me read this one super chat, and then we're going to get it over with continue with the show. Justin said, I sent you a DM with the plot and the floor plan. I'm building my tiny community to hold as rentals for disabled veterans. I'd love to hear your thoughts. All right, I'm going to check that out. Absolutely, I'm going to check it out. One more thing that I want to share with you guys before we get up out of here today. Shout out to Justin. I appreciate you, big dog. One more thing that I want to shout out or I want to share with you guys is student loans. Student loans is back. Student loans is back. Y'all don't want no F-150s anyway. Y'all want Chargers, Challengers, Hellcats, that whole thing. Well, now you got to start paying your student loan payment. Dodge.com. Now you got to start paying your student loan payments back. What you going to do about it? What you going to do about it? Student loans is back. Hold on. Before we start getting into these student loans, let me build my Charger and Challenger and Hellcat. Give me a second. Y'all not about to have me out here not building my Charger, Challenger, and Hellcat. Give me a second. How much y'all paying for these Charger, Challengers, and Hellcats? Before we deep dive into that student loan stuff. No thanks. Dodge muscle cars. Dodge muscle. Shop online. Find a dealer. How much y'all paying for a Hellcat? 2023. Challenger. Let's go with a Challenger. Price, trim level, drive. Let's just do this. Let's go engine. Ain't that what we want right there? $80 bands. That's what y'all buying these Hellcats for? Is this what y'all spending on Hellcats? $85,000? Wow, you can get one with purple for $86,000, $87,000, $88,000, $90,000? Hold on. Y'all paying 90 bands for a Hellcat wide body? Jesus Christ. That's what y'all paying 90 bands for right here? With that interior right there? Man, y'all have lost y'all minds. I can't believe y'all paying 90 bands for this. Y'all paying $90,000 for this? That's crazy. That is absolutely, positively crazy. I ain't even want to put myself on the camera for that one. 90 bands for that? Jesus Christ. No wonder everybody's got delinquencies. 90,000. Start the buying process. What if I bought one right now? $1,400 a month for a 36-month lease. $1,650 a month. Review payment options. I ain't trying to put all of my personal information in there. Wow. That's your payment amount right there. 60 months. 60 months. Basically $1,700 a month. That ain't even with insurance. So the next time that you see one riding through the street, this is what you can expect for them to be paying if they financing it and they trying to own the car. Eventually they're going to own the car. All right, so let's get back into what it is that we doing. We can't keep being distracted, y'all. All right, so let's get back to what we doing. Student loans is back. All right, let's get into it.
Jennifer Hernandez doesn't know where she'll find an additional $650 a month to pay her student loans.
It's frustrating. I do intend to pay my student loans. It's just that the amount was so high. I can't afford that.
The 35-year-old middle school counselor in the Bronx is on an income-driven repayment plan with $91,000 in loans.
A middle school teacher in the Bronx. A middle school teacher in the Bronx. What degree did she get to where she's going to be a middle? Listen. 91,000 Her student loan was just that Hellcat that I was just talking about right there. Her student loan was the Hellcat that I just showed you guys. She got a $91,000 student loan, but the wide body Hellcat with the kit on it was 90 bands. And that ain't with tax, so you had to throw that 6% sales tax, that Michigan sales tax. $90,000. She's on an income-based repayment plan, never paid nothing during the pandemic in order to lower the principal so that she'll have less interest to pay. And she's a middle school teacher in the most expensive city in the United States of America. Hey, somebody go and get me a napkin so I can cry, some paper towel so I can wipe my eyes as a result of this. Are y'all hearing? Listen. I keep telling y'all, because y'all keep listening to all of these podcasts and women get into the bag and they making more money and they more educated than they ever have before, but they under duress. Listen, this is not a modified video. She is sitting in the dark. There is no lights on in her location. This is a MSNBC special broadcast, and there is no lights on in her location. And this woman has $90-something thousand in student loans, and she is trying to hold the government accountable because Biden promised y'all that he was going to forgive y'all student loans. That's a fact, though. It don't get no more realer than this. It don't get no realer than this. Somebody said after 10 years, her loan will be forgiven. Maybe. But that's 10 years of taking. Listen, 10 years, that's 120 payments. Bro, you can buy a house for that. In 10 years, that's 120 payments. That means, listen, you got one life. One life. And you have to subject yourself to something that you signed up for. We're not even having a conversation based off of the idea that you never should have took out that student loan in the first place and you blaming somebody else for your problems. 10 years of your life. Most people, some of y'all, if you look at the people that you graduated high school with, everybody ain't even here over a 10-year span. You know, for real, Sabrina, somebody is going to go to jail and get out before she's able to get from under these student loans. God, I just couldn't imagine.
Everything that's coming in is either going towards bills.
Hernandez is one of the more than 43 million student loan holders whose payments are now due
43 million
after President Biden's student debt cancellation plan was struck down by the Supreme Court in June. 25-year-old Kari Karanikos has taken to TikTok to stay motivated with a six-figure student debt and an $1,100 monthly payment.
I'm lucky in the sense that I can live with my parents and I don't have to consider if I'm going to pay for groceries this month or pay for the student loans.
If you're worried about making...
And listen, this woman right here, she's going to be living with her parents until some simp sad sucker come and marry her, and he going to wind up adopting her student loan debt as a result of it. She has a six-figure student loan debt, is probably on an income-based repayment plan of over $1,100 a month, living with her mother, can't even afford to buy groceries, and she's out here suffering as a result of it. Kenya from Cali says, this is why I like interacting with the chat. Kenya from Cali says, my same friend with the $200,000 in loans as a third grade teacher is paying $800 a month. She'll never get from under that. She'll never get from under that.
If you're worried about making payments, experts say check with your loan servicer to see how much you owe and when it's due. Consider an income-driven repayment plan and beware of scams promising immediate loan for...
An income payment-driven repayment plan doesn't actually get you from out of the loans unless you work for a public service or, you know, you got to work for the federal government, right? Or you got to work for a government body or you got to work for a nonprofit. The caveat to that, and this is the funny thing that people won't tell you. The caveat to that is this. First, you got to qualify. Then you got to make all of your student loans on time, your payments on time, and you're on an income-based driven repayment plan. It also affects your credit. The interest is not necessarily going towards the principal, and you got to stay in a public place or a nonprofit for over 10 years. Now, why is that bad, Anton? Well, one of the reasons that is bad is that there's no guarantee that it's going to be forgiven unless you follow all of the different instructions and you do it accordingly and you do it successfully. That's number one. Number two, you also forego a lot of money that you can make in the private sector. A lot of money that you can make in the private sector because you're so focused on being under duress for these student loans and you're hoping to get them forgiven. So where you could have made way more money on the other end, but because that's not enough for you to actually be able to qualify for student loan forgiveness and live a better life, you stuck between a rock and a hard place. Listen, why is this resonating? Why is it so easy for me to speak to? I'll tell you why. When we were coming up, one of the things that stuck with me and one of the reasons why I keep having this conversation with y'all on a regular basis is because I keep telling y'all that the middle class is the ones that's going to take it up the butt. The middle class is the ones that's going to take it up the butt. Real talk. Why? Well, when we was coming up, and one of the things that informed me that I had to make some adjustments to my life is I applied, I was going to a private college when I first got out of school. And I applied for FAFSA, right, which is basically the application that you have to get in order to get a Pell Grant, student loans, any of that stuff, right? And what they said was my parents made too much money, but they didn't necessarily make enough in order for to pay for me to go to college. So I was on my own. And I'm cool with that because my father had given me every single thing that I needed in order to be successful and make informed decisions, which I did. But really take that into consideration of what I'm saying. My parents made too much money, but they didn't make enough for me to actually be able to have enough money to go to school on. So the middle class is then stuck between a rock and a hard place because you don't qualify because you make too much money, but then you don't qualify because you make too much money. So the middle class then are the ones that take out the majority of the student loans because you can't afford to and you can't afford not to. You can't afford to, yet you can't afford not to. So now you have a lot of these people that actually go over into these major universities and they party and they have a good time and oh my God, and they get an underwater basket weaving degree. They get an underwater basket weaving degree and then they sitting there with $100,000 in student loans and they hoping for a man to come and save them and change their life.
Forgiveness in exchange for a fee. 30-year-old Bradley Alagna in Connecticut owes $147,000. He's having second thoughts about getting a loan in the first place.
Being so young and in so much.
And he need to shave all of that hair off of the bottom of his neck because why is his hair growing up through his shirt like a werewolf? Wow. He got his hair done though. Hair did, nails did, everything did. Hair did, nail things, everything. Oh, you fancy, huh? Oh, you fancy, huh? Oh, you fancy, huh? Oh, you fancy, huh? Boy, if you don't cut that hair off the bottom of your neck and it ain't even attached to your beard, it's a connection through the middle down to the opening. Wow. He got to cut that off. And what are you doing with $140,000 in student loan debt, sir? You are not a modern woman. What are you doing with $140,000 in student loan debt? Talking about you questioning whether or not you should have took the loan out in the first place. What did you think you was going to do? What did you think you was going to do taking out $140? Yo, if anybody, listen. This is a very basic lesson. Make sure you tell this to your kids. If anybody is telling you that they're going to give you $140,000 as a loan, if it's not for a home, then turn it down. If it is not for a home, turn it down. I don't care if they're giving it to you for your, hey, I'm going to give you a small business loan for $140,000. Turn it down. I'm going to give it to you to go to college unless you're becoming a neurosurgeon. Turn it down. I'm going to give you $140,000 student loan. Turn it down. Stop. Stop in its tracks and cut this part, y'all. Teege Henley can't help you in this area. Shout out to Teege. Teege Henley can't help you in this area right here. Y'all got to cut that part. Y'all got to cut this part right here. There's no reason for you to have hair all through here. That's not going to do nothing for you, fam. That's not going to do nothing. Hair right here. Oof. Got to cut that off. Got to cut that off, big dog.
Debt for doing something that I thought was going to better my life. It has absolutely been the biggest regret of
the zest is real on this one.
My life.
A reality that he and millions of others will once again face tomorrow. Priscilla Thompson, NBC News.
Thanks for watching.
All of those
Stay
people,
updated about breaking news
when
and
I see
top
all of those
stories
people that
on
be
the
at the graduation, all I can see is, and I'm wondering, is how much in student loans that y'all are paying back.
In today's Money Watch, we are looking at a huge issue for many Americans, the resumption of the federal student loan repayments. Coming up this Sunday, some 27 million Americans.
I almost feel as though, let me stop using that word. See that? Got me getting into my femininity. I almost want to believe, or I almost want to adopt a policy that you can't have sex unless you get out of student loan debt. Hey, do y'all think that people would be much more careful about the type of debt that they took out, or whether or not they would take debt out at all, or they would probably work their way through college, or they would be very careful about the curriculum that they sign up for, the type of degree that they're trying to get? If you told the general public you are restricted, you have to wear this chastity belt as a result of getting this student loan, do you believe that people would make the same decision and they would be open to taking out these student loans in order to better their life? If you start attaching consequences over into this stuff, do you think that people are going to start making better decisions? Honestly, no, you can't get no box, no bust down, no head, no nothing, no kissing, no nothing. All you can do is hold hands and get blue balls. All you can do is hold hands and get blue balls. In order to get listen, to qualify for the student loans, you're not going to be able to have no sex until you pay it off. People are going to be making some we ain't going to have no student loan debt. Ain't going to be no forgiveness asking. Ain't going to be none of that. Yeah, you got to wear this chastity belt until you get your student loans paid off. Listen, one thing I know is two things is for certain. If you want to incentivize somebody, just remove box out of their life. Nope, you can't even jerk. Nope, no none of that. No pee, no jerk, no OF, no nothing. You don't get nothing. Nothing.
Americans will have to start paying student loans for the first time in more than 3 years. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger is here. She joins us to break it all down. So let's jump right into it. The White House recently unveiled a repayment program called SAVE. Tell us about it.
Saving on a valuable education. This is one of the income-driven repayment plans. This is a big change.
Y'all will be out here with 50. Y'all will be out here with 100 jobs. Y'all will be scamming, jamming. We will have. It would be bank robbers out here. Hey man, why'd you standing in front of? Hey bro, why you robbed the bank? I was trying to get this student loan paid off so I can get me some box. I was trying to get this student loan paid off, dog.
Since the Supreme Court ruled against debt forgiveness, and a lot of people don't realize this plan could help you reduce your monthly payments. Why? Because it's based on your current income and also the size of your family. So think about this. Maybe I lost my job. Maybe I took a different job. Maybe I got married. Maybe I had kids. And so this could actually really help you out. A couple of other features of this plan that are really interesting. If you're a single borrower and you make less than $15 an hour, you don't have to pay.
This sounds so stupid.
There's loan forgiveness folded in here.
There could be, yes. And
Okay.
another part of the loan forgiveness could be
Lies. And she's using her words very careful. She said another part of the student loan could be. First of all, if you're making $15 an hour, you got bigger problems on you. If you're making less than $15,000 an hour and you got student loans, you got some huge problems on you. You got some life decisions that you need to come to the front of the congregation with. If you're making less than $15 an hour and you got student loans and this type of inflationary economy, you got some huge problems on your hand. You probably living in a tent. You probably should go over there, run up to Chicago and just tell them, listen, I ain't got no name. I ain't got no social security number. I'm from Venezuela. I just tried to escape the cartels, and I need a tent in order for me to continue to take care of my family. You might as well go over there to New York. Go to Chicago and New York. Listen. If you have student loan debt, anything above $10,000, and you make less than $15 an hour and you're a single person and you working less than 40 hours a week, go to Chicago or go to New York and just tell them that you from Venezuela. Just start all over. Just forget it. You might as well become a migrant to Mexico. You know what I'm saying? They go. You got to do something out here in these streets. It's rough. It's rough out here.
If you pay for 10 years and you had an original loan balance of $12,000 or less, as long as you make those payments for those 10 years, whatever remains at the
10 years, $12,000 for 10 years, God.
End of it could be forgiven.
Okay.
So do check out the SAVE.
So what if you can't pay or you miss a
Could
payment?
be forgiven.
So one thing the Biden administration did announce was that there was something called an on-ramp, which was a recognition that a lot of people who are starting repayments might mess up a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's say you miss a payment. Well, they're not going to report it to a credit agency. They're not going to put your loan into default. They're not even going to really consider you a bad payer.
Yeah.
But guess what? Look at the last part. But the interest rates is still going. The interest is still going to accrue, meaning that your balance is going to continue to balloon and go up. Listen, we ain't gonna report you right away. We're not even gonna consider you delinquent. But you know what we are gonna do? We're gonna continue to give you them interest payments, though. That interest is still gonna be racked up. You're still not gonna be able to discharge it with bankruptcy. Y'all are stuck between a rock and a hard place. Welcome. Been telling y'all to take care of y'all business over the last 3.5 years. Remember when y'all was telling me, no, Anton Biden gonna forgive us, so I'm just gonna hold on to mines and then I seen y'all over in Bora Bora, Dubai, Japan, Tulum. Y'all went to the Beyonce concert, Drake. I want to make sure that everybody that went to the Beyonce concert that had on silver, I want to make sure that none of y'all have student loans that you're not paying. In order for you to be able to quantify, in order for you to even be able to get tickets to the Beyonce concert, I need y'all to not have student loans that you're still paying. Is that too much to ask? Is that too much to ask? Before you go to your next Beyonce concert, y'all went to the birthday show in Houston. Y'all so busy chasing this chick. You went to see Drake and 21 Savage. 21. I want to make sure before y'all go and party over in Miami, before you go get your if I see one chick with a BBL, we un-BBL in her. We LBB in her. LBB that hoe. If she got student loans but she got a BBL, no forgiveness. I think that the qualifications for student loan forgiveness should be very, very clear. No cosmetic surgery. No BBLs, no butterfly eyelashes, no concerts, no sex, no children out of wedlock, no traveling, no nothing. Just like Cameron took all of Mitch's, money-making Mitch's Chinese food when he ain't had the money to pay off when they was playing, they was shooting the you know what I'm saying, the ball over there. And he didn't give him his food back until he promised to pay him back. I don't think that anybody should be able to do nothing for fun until you figure out how to solve for these student loans. No nothing. No Shein, no Temu, no Fenty Savage, no Victoria's Secret, no Gucci, Louis Vuitton. I don't want to see the fake stuff over there from China. No traveling, no Beyonce tickets, no music, no Apple subscriptions, no nothing. You have to qualify for any subscription because it has to be educational and it has to continue to increase your net worth. Nothing. I don't think that this is unreasonable. I think that you should have to qualify for forgiveness and qualify for income-based repayments. You shouldn't have anything. Listen, Stop getting these basket weaving degrees. Stop going into social work with a master's degree with $150,000 in student loans talking about, oh my God, I don't think I was able to pay it back. Nothing. No. Sit down. Be quiet. We're going to make sure that we take care of business. We're going to do things the right way. And we're going to hold each other accountable as a result of it. That's my plan. See, they don't want me to become president because I'm going to say the most unpopular thing ever. And then all of the modern women is going to be coming out against me. You thought that they was against me now? Oh, yeah. They absolutely going to be coming out against me on this joint. Let me read these super chats and then I'm going to get y'all up out of here for the day. It's been a great show. Travis Worldwide says, love the show. Edutainment, hashtag edutainment. I'm this close to tapping into the Patreon. I'm a UX UI designer making $130,000 remotely. This South Carolina, this SC $4.99, but feel like it's free. So the super chat is $4.99, but it feel like it's free. Patreon ain't but $15. You might as well have kept that and then put it into the Patreon. You know what I'm saying? But listen, if you're making $130,000 a year, you need to be leveling up. Because I don't want y'all to just be making the money. I want y'all to figure out how to keep the money. Shout out to Travis Worldwide for the super chat. I appreciate you. Shout out to my UX. Hey, what software are you using? Are you using Figma? You using Adobe XD? I prefer Adobe XD because it's integrated with the Adobe Creative Cloud. So I use Adobe XD. Obviously, we live in Illustrator. We also live in Photoshop. And I like the fact that Adobe continues to upgrade the software to where, you can share it. It seems a lot more real to the people that you're presenting it to. So shout out to my UX UI designers. Shout out to my architects, my UX architects. Shout out to my Photoshop geniuses. Shout out to my front-end developers. Shout out to all of my people. Y'all are really a part of my tribe. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my UX UI people in the building. Travis Worldwide. Bag for Bag says, for the Hellcat, the dealerships add 20,000. Oh my God! So wait a minute, they got them at 90,000, and then they adding 20,000 on the markup. 20,000 on the markup. Oh my God, that's crazy. Are they in that much demand? Kofi in the building says $100,000 vehicle. That car better have a jacuzzi and a theater. $700 monthly payment. I be crying about my $250 monthly. I guess I'm delusional. You ain't delusional. You use both Figma and Adobe, Dennis? I got you. Okay, I see you. I see all my UX UI people out here. Sigma the Prince says that Hell Demon is worth it, Time Dog. Nah, ain't nothing worth it. Ain't nothing worth it. Pass the Love offering is in the building. I appreciate you, Brock. Thank you, my friend. Let me add Silver Lion into the conversation. Says it's the Bronx. The roaches threaten the camera crew to keep the lights off. Yo, what is up with all of the rats and the roaches over there in New York? Oh man, I can't live in New York. I just can't live in New York. Some of the stuff I'm seeing online is crazy. Andre and Andrea Love Crossing Borders is in the building. Shout out to y'all. Says there are over 150,000 over 65 getting Social Security checks garnished from student loans. They can garnish your Social Security check. One woman is 90 and owes 20,000 from 1981. Not all loans fall. I'm sorry, laughing at the 90-year-old woman that still owe money. Shout out her. I appreciate her for continuing to pay her student loans off. My friend was cool when he married a sister that's a medical doctor until he realized she had $3,200 monthly student loan payments. Shout out to you. Silver Lion came back with another fireball. Says all my homies and friends have small blue collar businesses. None of them are making less than $225,000 a year. Only degree needed was a school of hard knocks. And making sure that they tapped into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let me give a drum roll real quick. Shout out to Rita Cameron in the building. I love this girl. This is my heart. Ain't nothing like a woman that pour into me. I love women that pour into me. I adore these beautiful, wonderful women that pour into me. Thank you, Rita. I love you. I appreciate you. Ain't nothing like a good Rita. Ain't nothing like a good Rita. I love me a Rita Cameron in the building. Let me give her another one. Shout out to Rita. I appreciate you, baby. Call me. Brittany B in the building says, run to Chicago and say, hola. Shout out to Brittany. It's Jake Star in the building says, with the pandemic, people got free money. And were told they didn't have to pay their rent/mortgage or student loans, so they bought Hellcats. That's a fact, though. That is a whole fact, though. The new me, Michaela, is in the building, says, I work in the student loans, and everybody should have taken advantage of the no-interest opportunity. Could have put a huge dent in their debt. Now, they could have paid that off. They could have paid that off. They could have took care of business, paid that off, and we wouldn't even be having this conversation at all. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all. I appreciate you, the new Michaela. And then I got another super chat. Shout out to Being a Man is in the building. I'm paying attention to you, Being a Man. He says, hey, Anton, just passed my oral board interview. Asked for information yesterday, and you gave me gems. Listen. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Shout out to y'all. Let's run in the bag up. Shout out to the bag chasers. Shout out to everybody that continues to make smart decisions. And shout out to the good debates even from the audience about what we're talking about, both from a social and a financial perspective. If you have not watched the Q show from yesterday, make sure you do so. I love you guys. I appreciate you. You are the greatest audience on earth. And we are going to continue to do the work to run this thing up as far as we can go. As far as we can go. I love you guys. Congratulations on all of the new bag chasers, all of the people that's continuing to run it up and get great interviews and doing successful work with it that tapped into that interview like a king inside of the Patreon. Make sure you click the link in the Discord. It's attached to any of the most recent videos inside of the Patreon. Also, I am looking to live stream this weekend. Hopefully, I can live stream for y'all. Otherwise, I'll drop a video, but I love you guys. I appreciate you. You are the greatest audience on earth, but I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. Brittany says, does my name count as burrito? Absolutely. Absolutely. Hold on. Let me give a couple of shout outs to two more people that we got to highlight out here. Shout out to Brittany B in the building. We love her. I appreciate you, Brittany. And Jamal Fowler, my guy, just came through, dropped that 2-ball off and said, what up, though? What up? Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you to all of my mods for being very gracious with the people that's been being egregious. We have a lot of patience. But I will say that you guys make this show, make it a gem to do on a daily basis. I'm very much expecting to see y'all tomorrow morning. I got a whole nother show that's lined up for y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later.